And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Good morning, Car Clinic affiliates. Your Car Clinic minutes for the week of June 18th, 2018 are about to head your way. So go ahead and press that record button. As always, thank you for broadcasting and listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Have a great weekend.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Things you can't run from. Nightmare on Elm Street, your past, and the sun. Now, which can cause most damage? If you said Freddy Krueger, wake up. When we come back, I'll help you see the light. O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You may be running errands in your car, but you're not hiding from the sun's harmful rays. While windshields and windows offer some protection from UVB rays, UVA, which accelerates aging and may contribute to cancer, flows right into the passenger cabin. Proof? Studies show that the left side of American drivers has more sun-induced damage, but Australian drivers who sit on the opposite side had more damage on their right sides. So protect yourself and the tender skin of children with a good sunblock, even in winter. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Think of your favorite child. Now think of your favorite child again in your car. What can you do to ensure that child will live to become a favorite adult? When I come back, I'll tell you.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How do you protect your most precious cargo? Safety seats, which reduce infant death risk by 69% and toddler by 47%. Infant seats from birth to 1 year should be installed rear-facing in the back seat. These often convert to front-facing for toddlers under 4 years and 40 pounds. Booster seats are suitable for children 4 to 8. But not until a child is over 80 pounds and 8 years old are regular seat belts proper restraints. Whatever their age, when you think of your favorite children, picture them buckled up, then do it. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. We Americans love to measure things, our bank accounts, our wastes, and gas mileage. So how can you get more MPG while fattening your bank account and expanding your waste? When I come back, I'll tell you.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's the real riddle. Which uses more gasoline waiting in drive-through banking and fast food lines? Allowing your car to idle while you pause for the cause? Or turning the engine off and on again? The answer lies in one more measurement. Time. Idling for more than 30 seconds consumes more gas than restarting. Another gas-saving tip? If you turn your engine off and have a fuel-injected car, Don't pump the gas pedal on restarting. Carbureted cars hold pedal 1/2 inch until engine runs smoothly. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. If you think braking up is hard to do, how about braking down? I'm no expert on the first one, but I do know a thing or two about the second. When I come back, I'll tell you about the heartbreak.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Breaking up and breaking down both leave you feeling alone and can cost you lots of money. According to a survey of 1,500 motorists, 28% suffered loneliness of the roadside variety while waiting for a tow truck. The number one culprit? Neglected routine maintenance. Yes, while most of the stranded admitted they were familiar with manufacturers' scheduled maintenance, half confessed they were guilty of neglect. So to prevent breaking up and breaking down, treat your honey and your car to a little TLC. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Oh yes, the burn of a good workout. Oh yes, the burn of fuel at the track. Oh no, the burn of a cigarette on your car's carpet. When I come back, I'll give you the cure.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Joe Camel's been smoking in your car. Now his cigarette isn't the only thing that's smoldering. Before you blow your cool, try this to repair burns. With small scissors, remove damaged carpet and scrape away residue. From under the seat, snip whole fibers one at a time. Next, dab the burn spot with waterproof adhesive. Then with tweezers, carefully place each new fiber upright in the adhesive until the spot is as dense as surrounding carpet. Voila! You've kept your cool, your cash, and your carpet. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Count down to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. A lot to celebrate today. Father's Day tomorrow, so for everyone out there, I hope that your father is alive and well, and I hope that you spent some valuable time with him and with your parents and taking care of your car. I had to throw that in because, you know, it's just how this is a car show. After all, what else would I say? I'm Bobby Likis. Glad to have you in the house today. Miss Hannah, in fact, we have the whole team, our original team back in the house with Fabio and Hannah and Jonathan. So if you're joined our chat room at watchbobbylive.com, you can talk with Jonathan. If you have a question, you can certainly post that, and he'll I don't know how he gets that to me. I guess you type it or something, or he prints it. Yeah, prints it and brings it in. And so if you have a question there, otherwise, please call 888-227-2546. I will be giving away a $25 gift certificate today, courtesy of O'Reilly Auto Parts. Really, really cool. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by O'Reilly Auto Parts. When temperatures rise, your AC system works overtime. If it stops blowing cold, relief is as close as your local O'Reilly Auto Parts. They can help you through the sweltering days of summer during Murray AC month. From products like refrigerants to Murray AC compressors, they have what you need to beat the heat. Murray AC month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Your calls when I come back.
O'Reilly.
If your AC is blowing hot air, let O'Reilly Auto Parts help bring back the cool this summer. While you may need to eventually service your AC unit, get immediate relief with Interdynamics Arctic Freeze R134A refrigerant with leak sealer. Buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Motorrad, a longtime OE supplier, is the leader in automotive thermostats and fuel and oil coolant caps. Motorrad's state-of-the-art quality control and functional testing systems ensure high-quality, long-lasting products. Motorrad delivers world-class product development, providing all the parts and accessories needed to do the job right the first time, every time. Motorrad offers the best coverage of thermostats and closure caps in the world for virtually any vehicle and engine on or off the road. Motorrad, leading the way in coverage and service. Talking tunes? No, not the ones you hear on the radio. The ones that allow you to reprogram your vehicle's factory computer without even opening the hood. The result is more power, more torque, and a better overall driving experience. We recently sat down with Jim McGinn, Vice President of Marketing for PowerTech. Jim explains the benefits of tuners go well beyond just adding torque and power. Let's hear from Jim.
While Super Chips Flash Pack is known for delivering impressive horsepower and torque gains on gas, diesel trucks, SUVs, and Jeep, one of the number one selling features of the product is added and increased fuel economy, whether you're towing, driving around town, or taking things off-road. The Escape has changed for performance programming, and we're not just for race cars anymore. We add vehicle performance and efficiency for trucks, SUVs, and Jeeps.
And now, through June 30th, you can take advantage of a $50 rebate on all Flashback tuners from Super Chips. Find your perfect tune at superchips.com. That's superchips.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Rosie Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, loaded, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning. Happy morning, your name is Folgers Mountain Grow. Now you're here, your aroma helps me wake, and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. Speaking of on the road, if you're traveling this weekend, be safe. Make sure that you've checked your oil level. I know that that's an easy thing to check. A lot of folks don't do that regularly. Tire pressure, windshield wiper blades, and windshield washer fluid. And washer fluid is not water, by the way. It's not soap either. It's a special detergent that is a special mix, and you can buy it. You can buy it in concentrated form. I think that's a bit of a hassle. It's probably less expensive to do that, but we've got just up the street from our service shop here is O'Reilly Auto Parts, and there's a gallon that we buy that I use that it really works well. It's more expensive, but it definitely, and I have tried both ways. Having been in the automotive service business, we actually bought 55-gallon drums of windshield washer fluid. You know, so wow, we're going to save a lot of money here, because that's something that you don't charge. It's a part of a service. So if someone comes in for a digital vehicle inspection and oil change, you always top off the fluids, including the windshield washer fluid. So we were doing really well, and granted now, folks, and for those of you in Washington who are tuned in today, and upstate New York and areas here in Florida, it's hot. It's also humid, and humidity and heat creates one thing, and that's algae. So this 55 gallons of windshield washer fluid that we bought in about a month went bad. And we know we're transferring it because we have a pump. We're transferring it into a gallon, and each of the technicians would, pump a gallon when they needed it, and they would add it to the car. And so one of the techs came over to me and he said, "Bobby, come and look at this. This doesn't look right. It's like when you get a bad bottle of wine, or when you get oh, I hate to think about this, a milk that is outdated. And by the way, skim milk or 2% fat. If it says, let's see, today's the 16th, right? Yeah, the 16th. If it says, June 16th, that's the day it goes bad. I mean, if you try it tomorrow and you smell it, it is not good stuff. And in our house, there's just the two of us. So we don't buy it by the gallon, we buy it by the quart. And sure enough, it does go bad. And so that's the same thing that happened to, and I don't know how much was in this drum, but I know that we could not use it, and so we don't buy the 55-gallon drums anymore. We just kind of grin and bear the cost, because the difference between having to filter that stuff out and you can't add something to it to remove the algae that grows in it, and that's just part of the dark areas and those things, and the heat. That affects your automobile, and that's where I was actually headed. I don't know where I was headed, because it doesn't matter. It's about automobiles, but it's about the real automobile. But I just wanted you to know that things like windshield washer fluid are items that you may forget to fill, and you can't use water because, number one, that would freeze. Number two, it would go bad. And I had that happen on my classic Porsche that I have here, and I had to literally pull that tank out. I have pictures of that you would not want to see, so you have to keep those fluids fresh, just like power steering fluid. Nowhere in your owner's manual, and probably when you go to a service shop, whether it's an independent or a chain store or what have you, this microphone, and there we go, that cable's bothered me. nowhere will you see that you should service the power steering pump or the fluid. But here's the challenge with power steering fluid. Power steering fluid is not filtered. And what that means is the system has no filter, so the fluid goes from the pump to the rack and pinion or the integral gearbox, back through the hoses to the reservoir and continues. It just round robin, 365. It also runs about 200, 220 degrees. At 220 degrees, it certainly oxidizes because over time, any oil that you keep hot will start to thicken and darken. And this is true for any and every automobile out there. So it doesn't matter what you drive, front wheel drive, rear drive, it doesn't matter. Even if you drive, say, a hybrid that has the typical, well, a lot of hybrids have the electric steering, but if you have any hydraulic steering at all, which most cars are, then at 50,000 miles, or let's say 4 years, now I don't know how many miles you drive a year, but that's about right, you should replace the power steering fluid. We have witnessed that in our 47 years in the automotive service industry, and what happens is that piston and rings that are in the rack and pinion that go back and forth. You turn left and right, there's a ram, just literally like you see in hydraulic garbage trucks that lift those big pails up. There's a ram that uses high pressure hydraulic fluid, similar to and the same design as a hypodermic needle, or a needle that you use to, a syringe that you use to baste the turkey or to put meds in a human body. The bottom line is that piston and seal rub against the wall deteriorates, material and metal from the wall gets into the system, and then it metastasizes. You know what that means? That all of that metal particles transfers throughout the whole system, and it tears up eventually the veins in the high pressure pump, as much as 2,000 pounds a lot of times. It tears up the cylinder wall and the veins. So the only way that you can be proactive and head off expensive rack and pinion repairs is to be proactive and to change that fluid out. So when you go in for the typical fast in, fast out oil change, and if that's what their job is, just typical to convince you, and our industry very errantly and very irresponsibly has convinced you that a fast in and out oil change is good for your car because it's convenient for you. Well, I would tell you just the opposite is true. In fact, for our 47 years, the first 35 of our 47 years, we didn't even offer standalone oil changes because that included no service, it included no real inspection of the car. And of course, for us, we did oil changes as they were associated with engine repair. And we had a few customers that would come in and spend the time with us because an oil change for us is a 35 to 45 minute inspection of the vehicle that, oh, by the way, happens to include an oil and filter change. It is the inspection. Here's the point. You can drive the new off of the car, but if you don't put some of the new back on the car, then when you reach X amount of miles and age, even if you don't have the miles, age, that car will deteriorate and parts of that car will start to fail. And to that end, just this morning, our good friend Stan sent to me a video on a GDI, gasoline direct injection procedure that this particular system was produced by Valvoline, but all manufacturers have chemicals that are used to remove the carbon buildup behind the intake valve because see, a direct injection puts the fluid or the gasoline into the cylinder, and then there's no gasoline that goes by the intake valve that washes the carbon from the intake valve. So I said all these and I share this with you because there are things that you should know that you don't know about the car that you're driving. And if it's a GDI, you will have carbon buildup. There is no way around it on the intake valves. To that end, Toyota is ahead of the industry because they not only have GDI, gasoline direct injection, they have port injection. And the port injection, some of the fuel goes by the intake valve and cleans it, and some of the main part of the fuel goes, of course, directly into the cylinder. So you get the emissions reduction by having a direct injection. You get the efficiency of the engine by having the direct injection. And oh, by the way, you spray a little fuel along the way on the intake valve, and that keeps the intake valve clean, so you retain the newness of the engine. So anyway, it's very interesting. Hannah, and I apologize for not giving the number out, Hannah will take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. For everyone that calls in, I'm going to put your name in the hat. Remember this, you don't have to be present to win, and you can be off and about and just leave your name with Hannah. She'll take your name and your contact information. O'Reilly Auto Parts has, for a special for us on Father's Day, given me a $25 gift card to give away. So at the end of today's broadcast, which will be about an hour and a half from now, I'm going to be giving away one of the callers of today's program a $25 gift card, compliments of our partner sponsors, O'Reilly Auto Parts. So 888 Car Clinic is the number for you to call. 888-227-2546. You have to have a valid car question, which really shouldn't be too easy, and there are no dumb questions, except the one not asked. Your calls when I come back. Stay tuned. Folks, being car care aware is important all year round, but winter is an especially critical time as harsher conditions can put strains on your vehicle. Here are a few items to check, courtesy of the Car Care Council. Your vehicle's tires keep you rolling down the proverbial highway. This time of year, it's smart to check tread depth before driving on icy roads, and you may want to consider special winter tires. Check tire pressure weekly during the winter, as every 10-degree drop in temperature causes a 1-pound decrease in tire pressure. Check your exhaust system for carbon monoxide leaks, as windows are more likely to be closed during this time of year. It's also a great idea to keep your gas tank half full, as this will help avoid moisture buildup in the gas lines, which could ultimately freeze this time of year. For more great tips, videos, and recommended service schedules, visit carcare.org. And while you're there, order your free copy of the Car Care Guide for your glove compartment. That's carcare.org. Car repairs get expensive, and most of us don't have spare money for them. When a heater core starts to fail, it can be costly depending on location. Maybe $1,000 even. When a heater core leaks, it usually comes on gradually with a smell of coolant and a film on the glass that keeps returning. Common leaks are the glued seals on the plastic tanks. This represents a perfect opportunity to use K-Seal, as it can be poured into the cooling system and driven right away. And K-Seal remains in the system, so it can prevent future leaks as well. We recently used K-Seal on a Honda to stop a heater core leak. We never experienced the smell of coolant, but we had to regularly clean the inside windshield glass to remove that film. It doesn't take more than a few drops from a leaking heater core to cause an unsafe film on the glass. After using K-Seal, it stopped. Find K-Seal at automotive retailers everywhere and get more information at kseal.com. That's kseal.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
Higher, 98.
Higher.
Higher, 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment. Let me do a little housekeeping here. Number one, I'm giving away a $25 gift card courtesy of O'Reilly Auto Parts, to a lucky caller today. And I've chosen, perhaps it's second hour, maybe 45, 50 minutes after the hour, which gives me time to fill the hat with names. So if you call, or when you call, Hannah will ask for your phone number. And the reason that we need your phone number is so that Monday, not tomorrow, Sunday, it's Monday, Miss Jan or someone from Car Clinic will call you to get your information if you win. So when you call now at 888-227-2546, please give your number to Hannah, and that's confidential information. And at the end of today's show, which will happen at the second hour, this is the first hour. The second hour, you don't have to be tuned in, but we do have to have your number so we can reach you. Then we will draw a name out of the hat for anyone that has called in today. And if we get toward the end of this hour and you didn't get in the program, that's okay. We still have your name. Your name will still be in the hat. So you'll want to make sure that you call in early, 888-227-2546. So that's a really neat thing. And to that end, O'Reilly Auto Parts is a great place for Dad, especially on Father's Day. And Father's Day is tomorrow. So stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you'll find gift cards and hundreds of great Father's Day gifts, from tools to air compressors and flashlights. O'Reilly Auto Parts has exactly what he wants, and at guaranteed low prices is what you want. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And as I said today, as a special consideration for Car Clinic listeners, O'Reilly Auto Parts has provided a $25 gift card. So call me with your car question and get your name in the hat. Also, yours truly is giving away $100 today, and we have already chosen the winner for this car story. And over the past, I'd say, Fabio, 3 weeks or so, I've been asking for car stories for Bosch. And Bosch is a partner sponsor of ours, and Bosch Auto Parts, and the best, fantastic, terrific. I can't say enough about them because I have personal experience. Like, for instance, I was the first Bosch Auto Repair Center in the state of Florida and the 8th in the nation authorized. And that's a big deal in 1986. So we're looking at 30 plus years. So I do have experience, a deep experience with Bosch parts. So Bosch asked for car stories, which is kind of a neat thing for Father's Day. So we have one, and we have the winner, and I hope that she is tuned in today, because she is going to get a surprise, a $100 gift card from Car Clinic Network in collaboration and conjunction with our partners, Bosch. So that's really going to be, and what's really neat about that, folks, and I'll take these calls because the board's lit up. I want to read to you, and I will read to you. It'll be the next hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. So if your station doesn't air both hours, no worries. You can go to watchbobbylive.com and hear us real-time live on HD and video as well. And I will read you her story. And I will tell you, out of all of the car stories that we received, this one really hits home, and you'll hear why later. Okay, let's take calls. We'll go to John from our good state, from Florida first. John, you were first up, so you're first to the mic. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby. It's John. I'm here from Pensacola also.
Oh, cool. Congratulations. Yeah. Great to have you in the house.
Right.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, just listening to you on the way home, and I had that question concerning the direct injected motors.
Right.
I have a 2017 Ford Escape with the 2.0 and the turbo. And now that I found out after I bought it that, direct injection causes the back of the valves to be all clobbered up.
Sure.
And is there a cure, or, like we used to do fuel injector cleaning, and so that's out the door now, I guess. So what do I do to solve that problem before I have pinging and rattling and such going on my valve train?
John, there is a procedure. We provide that procedure in-house, and I want you to understand that procedure is the least expensive, non-invasive procedure. and that's on my choice. The only real way to eliminate all of the carbon and to restore the engine, and you'll understand why we don't do this, it would be to take the engine apart and take the heads off the engine and pull the valves out and clean the valves with a wire brush and put it all back together. Well, you know that's not going to happen, because you wouldn't take a perfectly good engine apart, because in the process of taking it apart, there's plastic hoses and pipes that would crack and break. I mean, even on my car at 49,000 miles, I put a water pump, and sure enough, the tubes that run to and air bleeds from the water pump back to the reservoir, one of them cracked. Well, the replacement was a totally different design. So I said all that to say, yeah, it's really, really interesting. So for anyone that drives a 5-liter Jaguar, supercharged or non-supercharged, and you have 50,000 miles and you have the original water pump, you need to replace the water pump and a Y pipe. Anyway, but I won't go into that, but it's a whole package that I know, because on my car I've updated it, and there's a long story behind that, because the design was not correct to start with, and that was in 2009 or 10. It took 8 years for that design to be upgraded. I'm a little put out by that, but at least mine is up to date. It's just that when I talk to owners, they say, well, you know, gosh, I don't want to do all that to my car, because I don't have all that problem. Well, they do, but they just don't know it. So getting back to your direct injection, which my car is direct injection, so that really bothers me as well. We use a commercial grade chemical that we fog the intake port and manifold with, when the engine is running at about 1,500 to 2,000 RPM. When I say fog, you have to put the fog in there, because spraying liquid down into the throttle body only gets where you can see it. It's like spraying the water hose.
Atomized.
It's got to be atomized, and it has to float and be a fog, so that chemical gets on the roof of the ceiling of the intake port and the intake plenum and the ports and the valves. Now, here's the bottom line. You can never remove all the carbon. You can soften the carbon and remove, well, I saw a video this morning before the program that Stan sent to me from Valvoline, and they stated, you know, 30 to, I think, 50 or 70% removal of carbon because of their special chemical and what have you. Well, we all use a very similar chemical, but here's the bottom line. If you have 50,000 miles, which it takes about 35 to 50,000 miles before it starts to affect performance, and even then, you still don't know, because the onboard computer covers up it keeps adjusting, right? It keeps, you know, the good news is our cars are tuned as we drive. The bad news is the computer makes up for the shortcomings of bad injector flow and different compression ratios in the cylinders by different amounts of carbon buildup, and it changes the timing on the fly on a per cylinder basis. So I said all that to say that you cannot expect any one procedure, and this is inside information, to undo 50,000 miles of carbon buildup, because if you put something that strong in the cylinder, not only would it dissolve the carbon, it probably would dissolve some of the various metals, or possibly damage the catalytic converter. I mean, it's not a one size, one shoe fits all. So what we use is a commercial grade chemical, but in my heart of hearts, and this is what we say behind closed doors, you're supposed to do this every 15,000 miles. And John, you tell me, would you buy every 15,000 miles, when your car is running perfectly well, a service that you can neither see nor tell that the car is running well? You just have to take it on blind faith? Ain't going to happen. Would it?
Well, that's probably, yeah. Most people wouldn't. I ran a Ford Ranger almost into the dirt and religiously did the Techron double shot in the gas tank,
right?
And it's never had an injector problem. So I understand a little of that, and I'm trying to keep. This is my daughter's vehicle. That,
right.
Of course, I helped her get into it, and I'd like to be able to keep it for a while and not have her coming to that 50,000 mile mark, and then it just goes dead. And
exactly. And so I would say for you, then I think 30. I did my car at 34,000 miles. Which I did all of my pre-repair, but that's for another reason, but also for that cleanup. And I did my car at 34,000 miles because 36,000 miles was the end of Tier 1 of our protection plan
Right.
because we have a protection plan that puts X amount of money when we service. And here's the neat thing. At 34,000 miles, I performed that service on my car. In fact, I spent about $1,200 because I did bumper to bumper, all fluids, intake, port cleaning, and intake manifold cleaning, power steering fluid, coolant, engine, transmission, differential. And at 49,000 miles, the water pump went out, and this company that is our pre-repair and our protection plan paid my company $700 to replace the water pump on my own car. I mean, I was actually paid to replace the water pump on my own car, and now I wasn't paid the second time because I put the same water pump on that came from the factory, and a month later it was leaking at a seam. And anyway, I'll tell you about that at another phone call because I got the phones jammed now. But the bottom line, I ultimately put the latest technology water pump that went from a 3-piece water pump with a plate in the middle to a 2-piece water pump, totally redesigned, and you can see the total difference. And I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for this repair because at 6,400 miles, John, the dealer put a new water pump on my car, and I went in for a recall on the nav system, and they said, oh, by the way, we replaced the water pump. I said, the water pump wasn't leaking. That's right, but there's been an upgrade on our problem with the backing plate. Anyway, that was never fixed. It was never fixed until 4 months ago. So,
Right.
and you Google that online, and you can see about the design of the 2013, of course, it's 2010 through 17, really. Hey, thank you so much. I'll put your name in the hat. And yes, that procedure should be done no later than 30 to 35,000 miles. And that's the only way.
Does that have an issue with the Ford current warranty?
No, absolutely not. Oh, no. Ford does the same thing. And GM, let me tell you, GM had such a problem with their cars that at 36,000 miles, they were having to take the heads off the car because the car didn't run. It would have the valves would hang open. We've been there, done that as well. We had one Traverse. We had one Traverse with 34,000 miles. We spent a week on and never fixed that vehicle because it had erratic compressions and misfires. Oh, it was and it was caused by that. Okay, John, thanks for your call. Got a break coming up. Jerry, Mike, and Jeffy, stay right there. I'll take your calls when I come back. We recently sat down with Johnson Controls Global Brand Manager Joe Meyer to discuss the advantages of AGM batteries, and Joe touched on how vehicles have changed through the years and why this makes batteries with absorbed glass mat, or AGM technology, a smart choice. Let's hear from Joe.
One significant trend we see in today's vehicles are the increased electrical demands that are placed on that vehicle. So these range from features that improve the vehicle's emissions, such as start-stop vehicle applications, to comfort, convenience, and other safety features. An AGM battery is best suited to ensure that the needs of these different features are met. So if you think about it, 20 years ago, we did not have vehicles that drove autonomously or included heated seats or GPS systems or extensive infotainment systems. Our cars really have become our second homes. So an AGM battery is really the best suited to ensure that your second home is working properly.
AGM batteries help meet the electrical demands put on today's cars, and Johnson Controls is the world's largest producer of automotive AGM batteries. Learn more at autobatteries.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start off smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I'm privileged to be involved with Capstone Adaptive Learning, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy, for over 25 years. Since 1953, Capstone has provided quality care programs for persons with developmental disabilities like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and intellectual disabilities. Dr. Sherry White with her team are dedicated to Capstone's clients, and 100% of your contributions stay local to serve those in this community. Go to capstoneadaptivelearning.org to see the difference Capstone makes.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets. They're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome, folks. If you've just tuned in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, I'm giving away a $25 gift card, compliments of O'Reilly Auto Parts today. It will be, in the second hour, about 45 or 50 minutes after the hour. But you put your name in the hat when you call. Hannah will take your calls at 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic. Let's go to Mike, who has a 05 Toyota Highlander. Mike, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us today.
Hey, Bobby, listen, I really appreciate it. Hey, listen, this 05 Toyota Highlander, I've got 130,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And at 116,134, I had new cam belt, power steering belt, tensioner, and all of that stuff changed out. It was warranty from another job that was done at 103,000.
Okay.
I have, when I listen to the engine now after it's warmed up, I have a noise that sounds like it's coming from the forward cam gear area, but I think as I'm looking at the IPB, I think it's that top idler that's actually making the noise. Does that sound like, and that noise is kind of coming up through the plastic guard?
Yeah, you know, Mike, I as you were talking, I was, the first thing in my mind was tensioner. In fact, when my car had a water pump that went out, I swore that it was the tensioner. And Johnny Bars, our master ASE technician, said, that's a water pump. I said, no, it's not a water pump. I mean, the water pumps don't go. It was really noisy, and it progressed from a moderate noise on Friday to Saturday. And all I did was leave the program, which is what I'll do after the program today, and drive downtown and have lunch and then drive home. So I drive 16, 18 miles or maybe 20 max on a Saturday, and it was significantly louder. And we had a road trip, and we took the little smart car on the road trip. I will never do that again. My wife loves a smart car, but I will never do that again. So the seat was so hard. Anyway, I won't go there. But just to tell you this, ultimately, it was the water pump. It wasn't leaking, but it was the water pump. And I would, if you and I were I would have bet you it was an idle tensioner. So here's what I suggest for you. Remove the, not the timing belt, can't do that. Remove the drive belt, the accessory belt, the serpentine belt. And so everything that is turned by the serpentine belt is away. It's like being removed. You got the alternator, the tensioner, the pulleys, the air conditioner bearings, and all the water pump. So, well, not the water pump because that's on the timing belt. So you remove that belt and then you crank it up, and that's easy to do. And then if you still have the noise, you know it's deeper in than the outside. Although you think it's coming from the inside already, at least if you remove that belt and it's gone, and you can run the engine, 2 to 3 minutes with that belt off, it won't overheat. I mean, it would if you left it for 5 or 15.
On this particular engine, the cam belt is the upper idler.
Yeah.
And it's not the tensioner idler. It's the upper idler where the belt feeds off of that and goes to the forward cam gear.
But you don't.
And so that's where I think it's coming from. It doesn't sound like it's the tensioner idler.
I got you.
It's the stationary idler.
But Mike, you don't know that. So in the process, I mean, if you take it off What are you going to replace? The gear?
You can't take it off because you can't run the engine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because that's the cam belt idler also. So you can't take that belt off and run it because the cams won't turn.
Okay. All right. So just listen to me. So you take the accessory drive belt off, which you don't think is a problem anyway, but you can run the engine with the drive belt off. Not the timing belt.
The only other belt is a belt that goes to the power steering pump.
Exactly.
And that's an only external belt.
Okay, so you take that belt off and you run the car, and if you have the same noise, it confirms that it's deeper in, and then you make the decision after that, because that noise could be coming from the outside even though you don't think that it is. That's a first step. In other words, I'm just sharing with you from a testing diagnostic point of view, and through the experience. You don't automatically do open hood surgery. You got to take that belt off anyway, and it's easy to do. So in 15 minutes, you say, "Oh, that didn't solve the problem, but at least it eliminates all of the above." That was my point. You got it?
Yeah, I got you. I've listened with it with my stethoscope hose, and I go all over the thing.
Right.
And it seems like that's the area that it's really coming from. But I'm going to bring it into your shop and have one of your guys listen to it, and we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I've got a warranty on that idler. It's an entire Gates kit that has everything, all the idlers, tensioner belt, the whole thing, and it just, it may be just that one idler.
Could possibly be that the challenge with that is you have to take all those idlers and tensioners off and twirl them and twist them by hand and feel of them, and let me just share this with you because we have more calls. I want to move on, but let me just share this with you. When my water pump had problems, I replaced the idler because I knew it was the idler, which I would have replaced the idler anyway, but I wanted to be specific. I wanted to know, and it was my car, so I didn't have to finish it today. You see where I'm going. So I replaced the idler, and the noise was still there. Then I took the belt back off, and I personally turned the water pump, which was smooth as glass. It did have some in and out movement, but I'm talking, maybe 10 thousandths. And so I twirled it smooth as glass. Here's what happened. After we pulled the water pump off and put the new one on, and the water pump dried out on the bench, you could turn it and it was gritty and rough. But before that, the lubricant in the coolant lubricated it, and by feel, I would have sworn there was nothing wrong with this pump because it was a bearing noise. It was a rattling noise. Hey, I got to go. Call us. Thank you so much for your call, and we're going to put your name in the hat as well. Our next caller is in New York, Jeffy. Jeffy, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us.
How are you today, Bob?
I'm terrific, man. This is really, it's fun for me, and especially, O'Reilly Auto Parts. I've got $25 that I'm going to give away today, and that's kind of neat because it's not my 25, but it certainly is a nice add-on and a nice thing to do for you or for Jerry or for Mike or whomever is called, John. Somebody, we're going to draw a name out of the hat, and for those who haven't called in, 888-227-2546. We'll put your name in the hat. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, what I'm looking at is my EGR valve. I have issues with it. I have to keep taking the thing off and, working it, put it back on. But, you talk about valve when they, run your car for your injectors and stuff. Does that have anything to do with helping out that EGR valve, or is that a separate thing?
Well, your cell phone or your home phone is breaking up. So would you ask me that question again? Because I didn't catch it, and I want to know.
Okay.
Okay, say it again.
Does that sound better?
Well, I don't know. Go ahead. We'll find out.
Okay. My EGR valve keeps sticking.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I go to Valvoline and have them run my engine for an hour with that cleaning stuff, would that possibly help out, or is that a separate issue?
That's it's outside. The intake system that I spoke of earlier is an intake lungs. It's into your lungs. EGR valve is mounted externally and uses the exhaust, which is after the fact, and that's routed back through the EGR valve that does put it put it being exhaust 7% back into the lungs of the engine, but it is external. Now, having said that, there's a lot of exhaust carbon buildup inside the delivery pipe from the exhaust to the valve, and there's a lot of exhaust buildup on the pintle because it's like an exhaust valve, except it doesn't run as clean as an exhaust valve because it's after the fact and doesn't run as hot as an exhaust valve. Let me ask this question. How do you clean it when you take it off? And there's nothing wrong with cleaning it. I've done hundreds of them.
Okay, what I do is I actually pull the EGR rate off the car itself.
Right.
And then first I'll start up with WD-40.
Okay.
And then I'll use carburetor cleaner.
Okay, so let me ask a question. How long does that procedure last for you?
It'll last me a couple weeks.
Oh, just a couple of weeks?
That's it.
Have you ever replaced the valve? What year is your car?
2001.
Have you ever replaced the valve?
No, I haven't.
Well, I would suggest you do this. Enough cleaning. The spring in that valve and the diaphragm that operates that valve are certainly not as healthy as they were new. EGR valves don't cost a lot of money. You're doing your own work, so you're not paying any shop any labor. So I would suggest that you replace the EGR valve, and while you're at it, clean the tube that supplies it, clean the manifold where the exhaust goes through, and now you've got a brand new exhaust valve because, let's face it, what year is your Oldsmobile? 01,
That's
right?
a 2000. Yep, 2001 4.3 liter Vortex.
So you see, you could even be disturbing something when you take it apart. You're moving it back and forth, the pintle in it. So there could be something else wrong. It's analogous to, and this has happened a lot in our industry. We take a wire. We got a car that has a problem. We diagnose it and we're testing it, and just we can't condemn any part, so we unplug the connector and take the part off and put it back on and plug it back in. And really, it's the plug, the male and female plug, that where the problem was. So we put it on, put it back together. Whoop, it runs just fine. 2 weeks later, the customer comes back to the car, same problem. Now, I don't mean the same check engine light. That there's a lot of different problems for the same check engine light, but it's the same problem in this case. So we do it again, and we find that it was the male and female plug. When you take that unit off to clean it, you're moving that same connection, and so you could have a bad male-female plug that would give you the same problem. Anyway, I suggest that you replace the valve with a new one and be done with it. Do not add or any lubricant or do any servicing to the valve, but do clean the feed tube and do clean the intake where it mounts onto the intake, which really you've already done some of that, I presume, and it should be okay. But that's what I would do if I were you. Enough is enough, and 2 weeks is, if it lasted 2 months or 6 months, I could live with that. But 2 weeks, so there has to be other problems, because if cleaning would have cleaned it and been okay for 2 weeks, would have solved the problem, it would have lasted longer than 2 weeks. You see where I'm going?
I do. I do.
Okay, my friend. Hey, thanks for calling. We'll put your name in the hat as well.
Thank you, Bob. By the way, just got to give AM 1290 WNBF in Binghamton some credit here.
Yeah, by all means, and I got so many calls and have so many listeners there. And by the way, for everyone that's tuned in today, for you, my friend, if this fits, happy Father's Day. Tomorrow's our day. That's pretty cool, huh?
I think it's great.
Thank you, my friend. We'll take a call. In fact, let's go from New York to New York, and folks, 888-227-2546. Jerry from New York, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Jerry. Well, he's probably listening. Maybe he took a break. Well, I know he's on the line. Okay, we'll just leave it open there. Maybe he's away from the radio or away from the phone right now, and I presume that it's Jerry. But if you're in the queue and you're waiting to talk with yours truly, then now's the time to pick up your phone. So just leave him there, I guess, Fabio. I do want to, folks, tell you that, and this is a really another way to save money, and that's from Super Chips. And now through June 30, that's the 30th of this month, you can take advantage of a $50 rebate on all flash pack tuners from Super Chips. You can add horsepower in minutes without turning a wrench or opening the hood. You drive to superchips.com for more information. And to that end, I want to reach out to Clifford, a gentleman that called me in midweek and said, Bobby, I've got a F-150 2017, and I hear you talking about Super Chips, and I want to know if that affects the warranty on my new Ford truck. I was talking to my son, who drives an older F-150, and what sounds like a Ford family to me, and we want to soup them up, and I want to know if your Super Chips programmer, tuner, will affect the warranty, and the fact is no. In fact, what's really neat about these tuners is that, and they're handheld, is that when you plug the tuner, and I've done this, when you plug the tuner into the data port, the tuner extracts the original manufacturer's program and saves it. So any changes that you make using the Super Chips tuner, you can unmake if you decide to. You think you've got a warranty issue with some computer or some other part of the car, and you just want to ensure that you don't have someone that says, oh, well, you've modified the car. Really? It's not a problem. And for more information, you can go to superchips.com. I see now that Jerry has called back from New York, and so my friend, because we couldn't get to you and because we are out of time for this hour, I want to ask you to hold or call back for the second hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic, which will be coming up about 6 minutes after the top of the hour. And don't forget, I'm going to read to you the car story that we received for our Bosch partners, and this is from California. So in about 45 or 50 minutes from now, I'm going to be giving away, courtesy of Car Clinic, a $100 gift card to a lucky lady in California. Stay tuned.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
If you're familiar with the Kulseford section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the Kulseford section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with, and by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a Bluck sedan with like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's Vehicle Protection Program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Count down to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
Hi, folks. Welcome to this edition of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. A special hour, actually. Tomorrow is Father's Day. So for all of you folks out there, just remember that. And for my daughters, one in St. Louis, or O'Fallon, Missouri, and the other in near Ashland in Ruther Glen, Virginia. Just remember that tomorrow's Father's Day, okay? To that end, we ask for our partner sponsor Bosch car stories. So at the end of this hour, in fact about 40 minutes from now, I'll be sharing with you and reading to you the winning car story, which is really way cool. It's a $100 card gift from yours truly to this person, and I hope that she's tuned in today in California. But to that end, we also have a $25 gift card courtesy of our friends at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So that's for anyone that calls in. So now's the time to get in. 888 Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part today by Optima Batteries. Optima batteries are up to 15 times more vibration resistant than your traditional flooded battery. Optima batteries, the ultimate power source. You can learn more at optimabatteries.com. How cool is that? Your calls when I come back at 888-227-2546. Your vehicle a little sluggish, throwing off trouble codes? Take action with Berryman's B12 Chem Tool. Using HEST or high energy solvent technology, Berryman B12 Chem Tool fuel additive dissolves gum, varnish, and carbon deposits in the fuel system to help restore lost power and peak performance. But don't take our word for it. Brian was experiencing hesitation on his Accord when he recently hit 50,000 miles. After just one can of Berryman B12 Chem Tool, no more hesitation, and he can already feel the get up and go. Find out more at BerrymanProducts.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Folks, cold winters can cause batteries to lose their cold cranking amps and ability to start a vehicle. Make sure you have your battery tested and, if needed, replaced with an AGM. AGM batteries maintain more charge over time, better suited for start-stop systems, and if your battery tests low, make sure you check the alternator as well. An extreme cold followed by extreme heat can diminish battery life. Frequently jump-starting your battery or letting a vehicle just sit idle for days at a time can also slowly reduce your battery's power and effectiveness, risking a dead battery. The Bosch S6 high-performance AGM battery is more resilient to the constant demands of start-stop systems and vehicles with high electronic demands. If you're like me, always charging multiple devices, listening to the radio, enjoying all the technology and electronics in your vehicle, upgrading your battery to a Bosch AGM unit is a must-do to keep your vehicle running at its best and ensure you have battery power, always. To find an AGM battery for your vehicle, go to BoschAutoParts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com. When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at lendingtree.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I will be giving away, as a special consideration for our car clinic listeners from O'Reilly Auto Parts, a $25 gift card. A $25 gift card. So you can call with your car questions. Give Hannah, Miss Hannah, your telephone number so we can reach back to you after the program in case you're away from the radio. You don't have to be on air and present to win, but you do have to call in with a valid car question and understand the only dumb car question is the one you don't ask. Like going to a doctor when you leave there. Gosh, I wish I had. So don't put yourself in that position. You ask me anything about automobiles, and if I don't know, I'll tell you. And if I don't know, at least I can give you a sense of direction, which is really important. But Father's Day is tomorrow. You can stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts where you'll find gift cards and hundreds of great Father's Day gifts, from tools to air compressors and flashlights. O'Reilly Auto Parts has exactly what he wants and at guaranteed low prices. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And today, as a special consideration, as I said, a $25 gift card. So call now, get your name in the hat, and in about 30 minutes, or 35, the team and I will be drawing a name out of the hat for that $25 gift card. 888-227-2546. Let's try Jerry one more time. Jerry, are you there? Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yes, good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir. What can I do for you?
I wanted to make some comments about windshield washer fluid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Jerry, while you're there, and if you have a radio in the background, if you turn it down, that would be great. Folks, Jerry's calling to make a comment because on the first hour of today's broadcast, which is 2 hours, 10 to noon every Saturday, I made a comment about we always, when we perform a digital inspection, which is our mantra and our procedure on a vehicle that, oh, by the way, includes an oil and filter change. We don't just do an oil and filter change. We do a digital vehicle inspection and take pictures and photos that are automatically downloaded to the customer file. We always top off the windshield washer solvent. So we're going to like save money, right? Because we don't sell this. We just give it away with the service. We bought a 55-gallon drum of windshield washer solvent and had to toss it after a fashion because of the humidity and the heat, and it didn't go bad, it just grew algae, and that was not good. But now I'll turn the mic to you, Jerry. I want everyone to know, because I see that you have a comment about that, so now I'm all ears, as are a lot of people tuned in to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. So he obviously is having phone issues. That's too bad. Gosh, I wanted to hear what he had to say, but I couldn't understand. So he is Fabio and Hannah. So Hannah, when he calls back, if he calls back, we'll hear what he has to say. But when you do get him on the phone, put him right through. In the meantime, let's go to Bob and take his call. Bob, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, Bobby, it's been a long time. I go back quite a few years, back when you were on Thursday.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad you called in. What can I do for you?
Well, I've got you mentioned one time about the door window sticking, and you slammed the door and it went back operating, and I had that exact same problem with this 2002 Toyota Tacoma pickup.
Right.
The door went down. I mean, the window went down, sorry. And when I went to raise it,
Stuck.
It wouldn't come back up.
Right.
I mean, and nothing happened when I pushed the button. So I
Exactly.
opened the door, slammed it, and all of a sudden it worked again. And I remember you saying you had this problem, but I couldn't remember what the solution was, whether it was the motor or something else.
It is the motor, and here's what happens, Bob. When you put a window, when an electric motor puts a window up or down, the only way that the window stops is not because you let off of it. It's when the window is jammed up or jammed down. There's a rubber stop on the downside, and there's a window channel on the upside. And unlike Mercedes has a limiting stop that's adjustable on the arm of the regulator, but the same thing is true. The motor doesn't stop. It stops after it bottoms out. And of course, the later model automobile you have, what happens when the window jams is the motor is stalled and sees a current rise because, you know, it's like trying to start an engine and the engine is locked up. The starter goes and grunts, and it's a big, huge voltage draw or amperage draw. And so with today's cars, the body control module, which really sends the battery voltage to the window. You don't really do that, folks. You just hit the switch and you think you're operating the window, but you're requesting the window to be moved up or down from the body control module. But the bottom line, regardless of how it works, the battery pushes, with its voltage, pushes the motor until the motor can't go any further and any farther. And when it does, it stalls and it can unwind, and sometimes, Bob, as happened to you, that motor is in such a bind that it can't reverse itself because it's twisted too far up. I'll turn the mic back to you. Any questions?
Well, it was down. It wasn't in a bind. It just didn't operate when I went to push the switch. By the way, I've got a comment about the concentrate window washer. I ran into that.
Okay.
The fluid, and it did gel. When I mixed I was kind of disappointed because I thought I was saving money by buying the concentrate and mixing it with water, but it did. I didn't realize that was algae, but there was a white glob that
Yes.
got in the pump, and I had to take the tank out to flush it out of there.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what happened here. I mean, but I bought 55 gallons. I think it was 55. It could have been 5 gallons. I don't know, but all I know is that Brennan, who's our general manager, came to me and he said, "Well, I've got good news and bad news." I said, "Well, what's the bad news?" The bad news is this stuff is no good. I said, "Well, I thought you were going to save some money doing that. We're giving this stuff away." He says, "Well, the bad news is it's no good. The good news is we found it." I said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" He says, "It's no good." He said, "We'd have to filter it." And I said, "No, just lose it because it's biodegradable. It's just water with a little additive to it, antifreeze to it, but not regular car antifreeze because that would ruin the paint." Anyway, the bottom line, I actually took some of that home in a gallon jar. And I actually put that in one of my cars at home, and I saw this stuff pouring out, bloop, 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 with it. That white stuff you're talking about?
Yeah.
And so we don't do that any longer. I mean, you're just trying to, sometimes it's like buying milk. You buy a gallon of milk. Well, in my household, a gallon of milk would last, a gallon of milk, volume-wise, would last twice as long as the quality of the milk would last. So we just buy little small things of milk. But anyway, getting back to your window, you said that your window wasn't locked up. Actually, it was. When you put it down, it goes to the bottom, and then it binds, or else it won't go any further. And it has to go all the way to the bottom and bottom out before the window power is taken away from it. So all windows work that way, regardless, even if the ones that are computer controlled, they work that way because that's the only way. Otherwise, in other words, there's no micro switch that limits the travel of a power window. It goes until it, just like if you raise a window in your house, you push it up until it won't go, if you want to go all the way, and you put it down until it reaches the window sill. But there's pressure on the window sill, And with you let off your arms. With a motor, it's jammed. But so, anyway, getting back to how it worked, I didn't say slam the door because that's could break something if somebody's tuned in. What I said was on a window, and folks, here's the way this works. If you have a window motor that all of a sudden is stuck up or stuck down, and usually they stick down, Bob, as you know, because when the rain, you can't drive the car, you can't leave it outside, so you're kind of stuck. Well, speaking, no pun intended. So the first thing that you have to do is to work the window switch, and I suggest looking at the interior dome light so that every time you hit the switch up, 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 or down, 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 you can see the light partially dim. And this is a great way to know that the switch is okay and the wiring to the motor inside the door is okay, because when it dims, that power is trying to push that motor, and the motor's stuck. So it'll dim the light. Just, dim, 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 easy. And don't hold it. But when you want to make it work, I crank the car, bring the RPM up so I've got full battery voltage, making sure the headlights are off and the engine's running maybe a 1500 RPM. Now I've got not 12 volts, I've got 15 volts. And then at the same time that I push the window switch, I ball my fist where the motor is and bang on the door panel, which vibrates the motor, which makes it work, and that's the end of the story until we come back. This car repair spotlight is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Recently, we had an 07 F-150 come in with a check engine light and misfires. We determined this engine needed coils and spark plugs, but replacing Ford spark plugs without breaking them off in the cylinder head is not easy. So here's what our team does. We start with the Berryman Products 3-step fuel system maintenance kit from our local O'Reilly Auto Parts. But with the Ford engines, we let the vehicle sit overnight, which softens even the hardest carbon buildup on each spark plug shank. The shank is the part that sticks out into the cylinder and tends to break off. Next morning, we loosen each plug an 1/8 turn. Pour an ounce of Berryman B12 Chem Tool directly into each plug socket, then proceed to remove every single plug safely. If you own a Ford V8 and are ready to replace your spark plugs, get Berryman Products 3-step fuel system maintenance kit at O'Reilly Auto Parts and follow this procedure. You'll be happy you didn't break any plugs and your truck will run like new. This car repair spotlight is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. As winter comes to an end and spring begins, the Car Care Council reminds you that April is National Car Care Month. Time to get your vehicle ready for spring driving and summer road trips. Here are a few things you should consider. April showers can be hazardous driving conditions with slick, wet roads. It's a great time to make sure your brakes, tires, and windshield wipers are ready for the rain. Talking specifically about your brakes, how can you tell if something's wrong? There are a number of signs. If your brakes are spongy or squealing, or if you can't stop without pumping. Other indicators include your car pulling to one side when stopping, your brake pedal sitting lower than normal, and your brakes requiring excessive pressure or grabbing with the least amount of pressure. Any of these symptoms mean you likely need your brakes inspected. For more great tips, videos, and recommended service schedules, visit carcare.org. And while you're there, order your free copy of the Car Care Guide for your glove box. That's carcare.org.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone tip.
From Geico Auto Insurance.
When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your hosts, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this edition of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Happy Father's Day, which is tomorrow for all of you fathers out there and all you sons and daughters and moms and what have you. So it's really a great time of year. I never really thought much about Father's Day. I always thought a lot about Mother's Day, but I guess it depends on whether you're a father or a mother in your point of view. But I think it's really neat, and to help celebrate, I do have for one of you out there a $25 gift card from O'Reilly Auto Parts. All you have to do is call 888 Car Clinic, which is 888-227-2546. Miss Hannah will put you in a queue, and I'll put you on the air, and we'll draw a name out of the hat in about 20 or 30 minutes, and someone lucky will get a $25 gift card courtesy of O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ted from South Carolina, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you call us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your show.
Thank you, sir.
My neighbor recently had some clutch service done in a local transmission shop.
Right.
And I asked the owner if the manual transmission oil needed to be changed. And he said it would be good until the truck was scrapped. And I kind of differ with that opinion.
Well, that's old school. What he doesn't realize is that all mechanical devices that have heat buildup, which means every mechanical device I could think of at some point in that machine, means that the air gets hot and cold, which means that moisture gets in there. So even if you got a sealed unit, which that gearboxes are not sealed, it's open to the atmosphere because there's a vent on top of the transmission. So anytime you have an open vent, which you must have, or it will blow its seals out, then you have moisture getting in the system. And moisture and oil and water doesn't mix. In fact, to that end, Ted, the Alaskan pipeline, the oil pipeline, was replaced. In fact, I spoke with and interviewed the CEO of In Situ Form, the company that got that job to replace, and they put an insert in. They put a liner inside the original pipe. The pipeline corroded from the inside, not from the outside, inside out, because of moisture. Well, wait a minute now. It's an oil pipeline. So for anyone that doesn't think that moisture is where it shouldn't be, and anyone doesn't know any better, that doesn't realize that moisture is the kiss of death inside a gearbox, an engine, a transmission, brakes. The only place that moisture is welcome would be good, clean windshield washer fluid and healthy, from a pH level, healthy coolant, antifreeze. So that brings the question up: when would you change the gearbox oil in a standard transmission? Well, I would say 75,000 miles or 10 years, or 5,000 miles or 10 years. So in other words, if you don't drive much, it doesn't make any difference because the air is going in and out, in and out. So it's like having a boat gas tank that has an accumulation of water. And there's always been this big mystery about ethanol and water in the fuel tank, and boats, and all that stuff is terrible. It sucks water out of the atmosphere, which is not true at all. It actually holds water and suspends and helps dry the fuel tank, but that's another story, and I won't go there except to say that there are so many myths and half-truths, and this shop person that you talk to doesn't realize, and maybe has never taken courses in chemistry or been involved in the molecular structure or makeup or thermodynamics or chemical of fluids, whether it's transmission fluid or brake fluid. See, brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means that it does absorb moisture, and manufacturers replace brake fluid every 2 years. Mini, the BMW Mini car, the actual dealer does that. If the car's 2 years old, still under warranty, the dealer does it, and the dealer's paid by BMW Mini to do it to your car. It's free. If the car, at least that was my case, because I had a Mini. Anyway, so there's the facts about lubricant and water and why you should change that lubricant, because there's no such thing as lifetime anytime. Any questions?
So that would go for the rear differential also?
I think a rear differential, differential, a rear differential in a standard transmission car and transmission in a standard transmission car, I would change both at the same time. Now, there are additives. If your differential is a positive traction, which means it has clutches in it, you cannot use standard gear oil, because the EP quality, extreme pressure qualities, not there. The formula's not there. So if you put a standard gear oil or ring and pinion differential oil, or lube it's called, gear lube, in a positive traction differential, you'll get chatter. And that was for many years, years ago, people that drove, and Corvette was the most known problem child. Every 12,000 miles on a Corvette, you had to add a little bottle of the additive to eliminate clutch chatter for the differential. And a lot of Ford Expeditions have clutch chatter, and to that end, the four-wheel drive Expedition, when you start to take off and you turn out of your driveway, the front differential will chatter, and you'll think the whole engine's coming out of the vehicle. I mean, I've actually ridden with our customers that had that issue, and we changed the fluid, and they thought we were miracle workers, because we spent $150 or $100 on what could have been a $1,500 problem. And so those are the real facts. That's why experience and education, and our team is ASC certified, and that means that we pay for. It doesn't mean that, but we do it because we want to. We pay for their education. They go to the University of West Florida and are tested, and they have to pass ASE certification before they get the diploma. And once they get their certificate for that one, which could be general maintenance, there are 8 such certifications. I mean, you're talking cooling systems, air conditioning system, electrical system. That's the tough one, because you got to know Ohm's law and all those sorts of things. So it's very interesting of the training that goes into being an automotive technician, no longer a mechanic these days. Any questions?
Would you know off the top of your head if the rear differential in an F-250 1990 would require the additive for the clutches or not? I wouldn't
take a chance. Here's what you need to do. Once the car is in the air and the wheels are free, hold one tire on the back and turn the other one. If you can turn the other tire, you do not have a locking or a positive traction differential, because it has spider gears that walk around, that go around in a circle. So you could hold one wheel and the other one will turn easily. And that way you'll know. But the price of gear oil is a little more expensive if it contains that additive, because the additive costs more. It's zinc and phosphorus and some other magic potion, whatever oil companies do in their lab that they don't share, because they all have their own. Mine's better than yours, but in the big scheme of things, they're using mostly the same chemical. It's just different formulations of that chemical. In fact, 75% of a quart of oil is base stock, and in synthetic oil, the 75% base stock is the same whether you're using Royal Purple or Mobil 1 or castor oil or Valvoline, because the base stock of synthetic oil, what differentiates that from conventional oil is that all molecules are same size, and it flows easier and better and smoother through the nooks and crannies. That's why in cold weather, you better have and must have a synthetic oil. Now, what differentiates all those brands from another brand is what their chemists do in their labs, and how much money, their formula, and how much money they, because their additives are man-made additives, or a combination of formulated, whatever they make in their stills in the back room, if you know what I mean. It's very interesting technology. I had the opportunity to interview 26 tribologists and chemists and scientists when we sponsored a JOAP, which was a Joint Oil Analysis Program, JOAP, which was the government organization that tested everything, every fluid and coolant on every vehicle that flies, floats, or rolls in the military. I mean, they don't kid around. They don't joke around. They've got, just like on a ship, you've got a lab, and you've got a tribologist that runs that lab that checks all the lubricants for all the mechanical devices on that ship, which I'm sure are way more than what I would ever know. And when that person leaves his duty, and if Bobby is the person on board, then you, Ted, come in to follow me, you got to know exactly what I've done, and because you got to step right in and take over my shift or my duty term, which could be another, whatever the duty is, 2 or 3 months. So it's a very interesting technology, and the organization was known as, I say was known because the government discontinued, to my knowledge, that program, or at least they combined it with another. I know they didn't discontinue it. And as I understand, in old days, with a tank, the gear oil, to see what damage was being done, you had to stop the tank and measure the temperature of the fluid to see how hot it was running. And you also have vibration sensors on the tank because a lack of lubricant or a worn-out lubricant additive package will cause vibrations. So it's very interesting, that it being that technology is very interesting to me, and we all take it for granted. Change the oil and filter, everything's great. Well, it's not. A lot more to it. Hey, Ted, thanks for your call. We'll put your name in the hat. And folks, your calls when I come back at 888-227-2546 for the $25 card.
Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts, and your car's battery is what keeps it all going. Here's something to keep in mind. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. So be sure to choose a battery with power frame technology inside. It's stronger, more durable, and keeps you going longer. That means you can count on a battery with power frame to be there start after start. Here's another reason to feel good about choosing a battery with power frame inside. It's manufactured using the latest sustainable processes. You're moving fast, and you don't want anything to slow you down, especially an unreliable battery. So the next time you need to replace your car's battery, make sure you choose one with power frame technology inside. Look for power frame on the outside, and know there's true strength on the inside.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. As promised, I want to share with you the winning car story. And we would ask, in collaboration with our partner sponsors, Bosch Auto Parts, the best, we'd ask you to send us your car story as a precursor to Father's Day. And it was based on how your father helped you get over a crisis with your automobile. So we've chosen a winner of our $100 gift card, and that winner is in Paso Robles, California, which just happens to be where Saxum Wine Company is, which is, well, I guess my favorite. But I want to read this to you, and then I'm going to go to Jerry in Nebraska and Ron, who are in the queue. So stay tuned, and now's a good time to call in. But folks, I want to share this with you. It's really cool. Dear Bobby, here's my car story. It was the rainiest night on record here on the central coast of California. The night of December 5th to 6th, 1966, many years ago, about 5.5 inches of rain, as I remember. I'd come home too late, and I knew my father was already checking on me. Uh-oh. So as I was driving along a smooth, straight stretch of road about 5 miles from home, I discovered I was entering a lake. I gingerly tried to make my way through. That was a mistake. The only other route I could take was sure to be flooded already. About halfway through the lake, my car died. Try as I might, I ground that ignition till my fingers were cut and aching and my headlights were dimming. I cautiously opened the door. Oh, did I mention this was my prized '57 Thunderbird? And discovered that the water was up to the frame of the car and things were starting to move. What was I to do? Then I saw headlights headed in my direction. Bless his heart, my daddy was making his way to me in his trusty old GMC pickup. We were both a little conflicted over his finding me in this predicament, but he had his hip boots on and managed to hook a chain to my car. The rest of the road was not straight and smooth. I was not very experienced at being towed. More than once, I hit the brakes at the wrong time, and my daddy had to hook me up again. We finally made it home in the wee hours of December 6th, which just happened to be my parents' 25th wedding anniversary. They had been married the day before Pearl Harbor in 1941. A great start to that momentous occasion. Thanks for giving me a chance to relive that experience. I always love hearing your show, Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Muriel Sprouse, Paso Robles, California. So Muriel, from all of the team here at Bobby Likis Car Clinic to you, we will reach out to you next week and give you the $100 gift card from yours truly. And we want to thank Bosch for being our partner sponsors and for also suggesting that we provide in this story and ask for your car stories. And for all of you and each of you that did send to us a car story, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've shared one about my daughter. I won't do that again because you probably have already heard it, but we've all needed help along the way. So for all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Now let's go to Nebraska and talk with Jerry. Jerry, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Bobby, how are you this morning?
I'm just absolutely terrific. How about you, sir?
I am good. I'm tired of this 100-degree weather, but I got to wait till next week to get rid of it.
Well, I hear you. So what do you mean next week?
Well, it's only going to be 80 here next week. We got a front coming through.
Okay. I just want to know how you were controlling the weather there, so now you knew.
Oh, we got a big Father's Day car show at the church tomorrow, but I have no influence on this deal.
I can hear you. Talking about car shows, what's up in Kearney?
We are going 100%, get ready for cruise night. We're having meetings every week, and we're ready. And anyway, can't hardly wait to talk to you that day.
Well, and for those folks who may not be familiar or new to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, we have 3 new stations, KKLS, KDET, and KNEB, to name a few. Every year in Kearney, Nebraska, they have a cruise night that started out. So Jerry, just a quick down and dirty, the 30,000-foot view. How many folks do you think were there the first event?
Bobby, I wasn't. This thing's been going on 31 years, and I've only been involved with it about 16 or 17. But I would guess if we had 500 people, would be a bonus.
And now?
50,000.
50,000?
Yeah, we bring people in from all over the state and border states.
Wow.
Border states.
What I really love about car shows, besides the cars, obviously, to meet the people, and you have so many people that have so much in common. But yes. Also, what I really appreciate now that, and being a father, I appreciate the fact that you've got so many youngsters and kids there that are wide-eyed at all of the different styles and the noisemakers and the burnouts and the pickup trucks and the four-door. I mean, you name it, the whole gamut. Just to look at those cars, and I can't tell you. For me, it was always a given. I was always a car person. I don't know why, but it just was my hot button, and still continues to be. And it is. So this is really a good father-son. Granted, today, Jerry, we don't have the numbers of fathers that were changing their oil in their driveway and teaching their son or daughter how to do that. No, we don't have that any longer. But nonetheless, well, go ahead.
That's the way I grew up. Dad teaching me how to change oil and this and that and fix this and fix that and go from there. But I had a startling moment here a while ago. We have a tour up here that we call Tour Nebraska. That's a 600-mile trip, 300 Saturday and 300 Sunday.
Right.
And I took my '66 Mustang and come home, and the pinion seal was leaking. So I went down to the local auto parts store this morning and asked that boy for a pinion seal, and he says it's the front or the back. I says, why did you hire this guy? But I didn't say that. I kept my mouth shut. But anyway, he was a young man. He was trying, and he didn't have any idea what a pinion seal was.
Pinion seal. Well, maybe he was thinking of the extension housing for the transmission, and then the pinion is opinion is opinion. Yeah, I got you.
Opinion's opinion, buddy.
Well, I guess you got his. I guess you got his opinion, didn't you?
I got not very much of one. He no, he didn't know. But anyway, I wanted to tell you that we're looking forward to talking to you, and I wanted to tell you Happy Father's Day.
I thank you. Right back at you, and for everyone there, KGFW there in Kearney, Nebraska, our station for, 15 years or 20 years, and it's been a long run, and we have so many friends there. And it's great to always hear from you, Jerry, and we'll talk again. When is that event, by the way?
That will be Saturday, the 20th of July.
20th of July, Saturday. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Great to me. Hey, thanks for your call.
Hey, Bobby, thank you, and you have a wonderful summer, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Well, so folks, I've met so many people, and I've met Jerry, of course, face to face when I went to Kearney before, travel there. So I have met numerous people in my travels over the 27 years I've hosted Bobby Likis Car Clinic. But as compared to the number of friends that I have whom I've never met, it's unbelievable. I mean, Captain Jim, he calls occasionally, and perhaps he's tuned in today at Watch Bobby Live in our chat room. But Captain Jim, I've never met him face to face, but we're friends. You know how that works? It works because of the respect that we have and I have for you, and obviously you for me. And to some, I guess that would be like a pressure, but for me it's not a pressure. It's a privilege that I get to share with you my knowledge on automobiles and help you save money and keep your car in your garage and out of the local repair garage. Of course, you still should plan no fewer than 2 trips a year to your local automotive service shop, whether it's a new car dealership or an independent or a chain store, because you need a pair of professional eyes to look through and look over and around and under your automobile. And that happens most often when you get an oil change. So just know this: if I could change the paradigm back way up, I would not advise you to change your oil and filter. I would not. When do you change your oil and filter? You never go to a place, well, not never, I never use that word, but you rarely, if ever, should go to a place to get oil and filter change. You should go to a service shop to get an inspection of your vehicle. Oh, that includes an oil and filter change. It is the inspection that is primary to the health of that automobile, to be proactive. Okay, we're going to take a call from Texas, and then in about 2 minutes, we're going to draw today's winner of the O'Reilly Auto Parts $25 gift card, compliments and courtesy of O'Reilly Auto Parts, as a special Father's Day treat and as a special consideration for our Car Clinic listeners. So let's go to Texas first and talk with Ron. Ron, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yes, hello. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm working on my daughter's car who that failed inspection. It's a 2002 Suburban.
Okay.
The running lights failed the inspection.
Right.
And she brought it home, and we talked about it, and we found some burned out bulbs and replaced them, but we still don't have any lighting there. Mm-hmm. And we checked fuses on the different fuse panels under the hood, under the dash, and the relay module and all that kind of stuff, and right. Everything tests good. So is there some other thing that I need to check?
Does it have a tow kit on it, Ron? Does it have a trailer hitch and a tow package on the back?
Yes.
In general terms, and when I'm speaking to electronics or electrical issues, because that's such a hands-on testing of ohms and voltage and what have you, the first thing that I would do is go back to that plug, because you can physically look at that plug and the 5 or 6 inches of the wire as it goes through the bumper or goes through the frame back there, and to see what condition it's in, because if that's shorted, then that would cause it to blow a fuse. Now, you said that the fuses are okay, but my question, and I'm limited on time here, my question, you said running lights. Are you talking about the tail lights or the driving lights?
No, the daytime running lights, the lights that come on.
Okay, all right. Then forget the tail. That's not in that same circuit, to my knowledge. And really, you have to have a wiring diagram to really pinpoint. More than likely, the daytime running lights are controlled by a body control module and or a relay because they the voltage that goes to those, it goes through a special wiring, because not all of those cars had running lights, and you could also eliminate those running lights or disconnect those running lights at the factory. So my quickest answer and best advice to you is you're going to have a wiring diagram. I believe that you can go to alldata.com, ALLDATA.com.
Okay.
And look for your particular vehicle, which has to be for your particular year vehicle, Suburban, and get a wiring diagram. And so Jonathan can come in now, Fabio. And so you can do that, and because you'll have to check, number one, for the power source, which would not, maybe the fuse is okay, but the bottom line is when you turn the key on, not the headlight switch, is when that power goes hot. So you'll have to have the diagram in order to check the circuitry to know which wire and which fuse to test and where the relay is located by a component locator. Okay, you got it? I wish I could pinpoint it and help you at a better, but that's the only, we got to have a roadmap to get there, and you got to have that in your hands.
One of the things I didn't tell you was there in the chamber where the light is.
Come on over, Jonathan. Ron, let me let you hold there just a minute. I'm going to reach into the hat and get the name of our winner out of our O'Reilly Auto Parts because of time. Thank you, Jonathan. So, Ron, quickly, what was your last question, sir?
Yeah. What I didn't tell you was in the light chamber there, it had gotten wet and full of water partially, and we drilled a little hole, tiny hole, and drained that, and thinking that may have shorted out the bulbs, but it may have caused other.
I would say, yes, sir. I would say to you, Fabio, to, for sure, check the sockets where the bulbs fit in, and check the ohms resistance. Make sure the ground is 100% 0 ohms resistance. You know, the winner of the O'Reilly Auto Parts is Jeffrey in Binghamton, New York. Congratulations, Jeffrey, and thank you, O'Reilly Auto Parts, for your $25 gift card. Folks, that's the end of today's broadcast. I'm Bobby Likis. Likis, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Berryman's B12 Chem Tool features HEST, or High Energy Solvent Technology. Helps maximize one-tank cleanup of intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers. But don't take our word for it. Gary's Mercury Sable was just running awful and throwing trouble codes. A local technician said it might cost as much as $600. So first, Gary tried Berryman B12 Chem Tool Fuel Additive, and now it runs like new with no trouble codes. Learn more about Berryman products and their HEST technology at berrymanproducts.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Racing Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, it starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Fortress Mountain Grow, now you're here. Your aroma helps me with